The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
After the midterm elections, my advisors asked me, Mr. President, do you have a bucket list? And I said, well, I have something that rhymes with bucket list. Take executive action on immigration? Bucket. New climate regulations? Bucket. It's the right thing to do. And my new attitude is paying off. Look at my Cuba policy. The Castro brothers are here tonight. Welcome to America, amigos. ¿Qué pasa? What? It's the Castros from Texas? Oh. Hi, Joaquin. Hi, Julian. Anyway, being president is never easy. I still have to fix a broken immigration system, issue veto threats, negotiate with Iran, all while finding time to pray 5 times a day. Which is strenuous. Let me set the record straight. I tease Joe sometimes, but he has been at my side for 7 years. I love that man. He's not just a great vice president, he is a great friend. We've gotten so close in some places in Indiana, they won't serve us pizza anymore. On Saturday Night Live, Sicily impersonates CNN anchor Brooke Baldwin, which is surprising because usually the only people impersonating journalists on CNN are journalists on CNN. ABC is here with some of the stars from their big new comedy, Blackish. It's a great show, but I have to give ABC fair warning. Being Blackish only makes you popular for so long. Trust me. Let's face it, there is one issue on every reporter's minds, and that is 2016. Already we've seen some missteps. It turns out Jeb Bush identified himself as Hispanic back in 2009. Which, you know what, look, I understand. It's an innocent mistake. Reminds me of when I identified myself as American back in 1961. And Donald Trump is here. Still. Anyway, the Koch brothers think they need to spend $1 billion to get folks to like one of these people. It's got to hurt their feelings a little bit. And look, I know I've raised a lot of money too, but in all fairness, my middle name is Hussein. What's their excuse? And Bernie Sanders might run. I like Bernie. Bernie's an interesting guy. Apparently, some folks really want to see a pot-smoking socialist in the White House. We could get a third Obama term after all. Could happen. You know, investigative journalism, explanatory journalism, journalism that exposes corruption and injustice, and gives voice to the different and the marginalized, the voiceless. That's power. It's a privilege. It's as important to America's trajectory, to our values, our ideals, than anything that we could do in elected office.
Good evening. I'm Cecily Strong. You may know me from Saturday Night Live. It is great to be here at the Washington Hilton. It's something a prostitute might say to a congressman. The Washington Hilton, you guys. Man, if these walls could talk, they'd probably say, "Clean me." You know, it's crazy to think that our president is right here in the ballroom of a Washington Hilton. And it's even crazier to think that our vice president is right now in the ball pit of a Washington Chuck E. Cheese. But seriously, the Washington Hilton is great. And I bet that when the president walked in and saw all those bellhops, he thought, finally, some decent security. No, it's okay. I'm just kidding. No, because let's give it up for the Secret Service. Yeah. I don't want to be too hard on those guys, you know, because they're the only law enforcement agency in the country that will get in trouble if a black man gets shot. Are you saying boo or are you saying true? Fox News is here. Now, Fox News has been losing a lot of viewers lately, and may they rest in peace. That's nice to say. That channel is all hot blonde ladies and old dudes. You know, every show on Fox News looks like a party scene from Weekend at Bernie's. And you gotta give it up for CNN. You know, it's just comforting to know that whenever a big story breaks, I can turn to CNN and watch Anthony Bourdain eat a cricket. NBC is here. You know, even us at SNL got criticized this year for making fun of ISIS. Now, I think that's unfair. I mean, if anyone is guilty of taking ISIS too lightly, it's you know. Oh, and what can I say about Brian Williams? Nothing, because I work for NBC. Senator Tom Cotton got 47 other senators to sign an open letter he wrote to Iran. And I guess the most surprising thing is that a guy named Tom Cotton is a U.S. senator and not a rabbit from an old racist Disney cartoon. Oh, please, Brer Bear, don't throw old Tom Cotton in the briar patch. That's a good accent. Now, in Tom Cotton's defense, he was just trying to repair America's strained relationship with Israel. But you know what? He doesn't need to worry about that. Our relationship will be better in the next administration, just as soon as Israel makes a generous donation to the Clinton Foundation. True or boo? President Obama came out in support for putting women on money as opposed to the DEA agents who prefer to put money on women. So much to talk about this year, but of course, the big story, the Republicans finally succeeded and Obama is being forced out of office in 18 months. You did it. And there are so many great people who've already announced they're running for president. It's like, who should I even vote for, Hillary? There's Marco Rubio. It's like, who's better than Marco Rubio, Hillary? And there's Rand Paul. I mean, who's more knowledgeable about foreign policy than Rand Paul, Hillary? And of course, there's Hillary. I mean, who's better on the economy than Hillary? Bill? Ted Cruz. It's like the right wing thought, what's the exact opposite of a black president? How about a Canadian Latino who'll never be president? No, it's true. He was born in Canada, a child of Cuban immigrants. I kind of can't believe he wasn't in Hillary's announcement video. Mr. President, thank you so much for taking time away from being on Jimmy Kimmel to be here. It's amazing to be seated with the president having this fancy dinner, and I know this must have cost a ton of food stamps, so thank you. I can say that, you know, because a lot of you probably don't know this, but President Obama and I actually grew up together in Chicago. I remember when we used to go down to the Cabrini Green basketball courts. I'd lace up a pair of Jordans, he'd slip on a pair of my mom's jeans, and we would just miss three-pointers until sundown, when of course we'd have to stop and pray to Mecca. But those were simpler times. Now you got problems with Congress, with Putin, with Israel. You said it yourself. We can't solve these problems by holding hands and singing Kumbaya. Kumbaya, of course, is the village in Africa where the president was born. Am I saying that right? Kumbaya? Is it? After 6 years in office, your approval rating is at 48%. Not only that, your gray hair is at 85%. Your hair is so white now it can talk back to the police. We'll high five about that later.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.